Hey guys, Retro Gaming Guy here. So today in this video, we're going to unbox, demo, and review this 20,001 plug-and-play Pandora box game console. Now, this advertises right in the title on Amazon that it has no repeat games on here. In fact, word for word, it says retro, unrepeated classic game console. So I'm interested to see what this has to offer, but it only has 3 out of 5 stars on Amazon and it's priced at just 38 bucks. So I'm not too sure how this is going to go for us. I have an idea that probably not well, but let's dive straight into this. I've got it right here. We're going to unbox this on camera. We'll see exactly what it offers in terms of layout and design, and then we'll fire it right up. We'll tour through everything that's included on here and then jump into games to see how it performs. Let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. All right, so it comes with 2 controllers. We'll take a look at those first. PlayStation style controllers, A, B, X, and Y button configuration there. These are the ones that you typically get with plug-and-play consoles, the same ones. They're wireless. You'll find a USB dongle inside here usually. Of course, now that I said that, that's not the case. Yeah, all right, so maybe they're not through a USB dongle, or maybe it's already inserted in. Generally, that's how these are, though, so that's interesting. But they run off of, I believe, AAA batteries here. Yep, AAA batteries in there, so I got that right at least. And there's not a receiver in there. Maybe it's already in the console, or maybe I'm completely wrong. We have a user guide here. We'll open this up. It does have pictures to show you how everything connects and sets up, although it is pretty straightforward. And this does seem to be like a generic sort of manual here, as we're looking at things that aren't, specific to the console in front of us, but it does seem to be pretty thorough. I'll give them credit there. We have our power supply cable. We have our regular HDMI cable right here, and here is the console. So it's in there loose. It's not really packaged well, but we've got Mario right there on the cover. So we've got some Super Mario Galaxy going on there, which is actually a pretty cool graphic. It's not poor quality. It looks really nice. They're certainly running right towards Nintendo with this, and we do have the dongle that I suspected would be within the actual battery area of the controller, but it's already inserted for you. So this offers, let's see, we've got 2 USB ports, one that's already taken up by that dongle there. And then we have an Ethernet port over here. We have an HDMI port. We have our power supply connection over here. I believe it's that one, right? Yep. We have a micro SD card slot, and we have an AV port on here as well. So let's go ahead and pop out this micro SD card. I want to see the capacity card that's coming with this. So this is just 64 gigabytes in this micro SD card here. It is unbranded, so it's going to be just a generic off-brand card. So you definitely want to back that up if you do plan on using this long-term, because generic cards just don't hold up well over time. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I'll unravel this cable so we can get this plugged into the power outlet under my desk. And what I'm going to do is we're going to grab the first controller here, and I'm going to throw some batteries in here. We'll boot this up on screen. I'll do my little capture card deal, and you guys will see everything that I see as we fire this up. All right, guys, so we just landed inside of this plug-and-play Pandora box setup here, the 20,001 setup, and across the top there I see 2004, so we're on page 1 of 2004. So yeah, I mean, the game count might certainly load up if that's the case. So we've just landed in, I assume, the all games list here. I'm really not sure. This is very not straightforward. And I'm noticing that these titles here looks like just file names. I mean, there's not even a title. It says this is Super Mario Brothers for NES. Says this is Super Mario Brothers 2. This is Super Mario Brothers 3. Just going off of the image there. But in terms of the game list here, I mean, these are just file names, I assume. They're certainly not, anything that we can read and know, like, I mean, I know when I get to it, okay, we've got some Super Mario, we've got some Sonic here, or that's probably a hack, but yeah, we've got a bunch of Mario titles here. I only know that when, like, Super Mario World, I only know that because I'm looking at the image. There's no idea, I have no idea what's coming down this list right here because it's just a absolute mess. And as far as not having duplicates, which they say in the title, not the description, the title of this listing on Amazon, they say no duplicates. Dude, it's duplicate city here. Like, what's going on? And some of these might be hacks. Some of these might, so maybe they differ. But as far as I can tell, it looks like a lot of duplicates here. So like right here, these might be different versions. We're in King of Fighters, I know KOF, so we do have a game list that's somewhat populating incorrectly here, but not in alphabetical order, which is annoying because it's like, all right, how do you find stuff then? So I'm going to hold this down so we don't get that sound. But they've got King of Fighters for, I don't know, what feels like 7-8 pages now. And I know there's a million of those, but all right, so let's see. We got Metal Slug here. So at least we've now gotten to a point where we're seeing a title for, you know, each of these games, and it's not just simply a screenshot over there. And we actually get a video preview for the Neo Geo titles at least. But now here comes, okay, we have 2 different versions. Now these are hacks. These are different, like this is the enemy reset version. This is the multifunction hack. So there's different versions of the same games and like hacks and stuff. So I'm not going to knock them for that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. So it could be a situation where you take this and you kind of pull what you want from it too, because there are a lot of ROMs here clearly, and they're not just the straight up, you know, original releases. There's hacks, there's, you know, different games like that. So we've got the Simpsons in here, Simpsons 2-player. This one's Simpsons 2 2-player. So I don't know if that's Simpsons 2 2-player. That one's just 2-player. It's the same game. I mean, there weren't 2 versions of this. So yeah, I'm not sure. I would imagine one is the 2-player, one is the 4-player. So maybe 2, and then the 2 in parentheses means that it's 4. I don't know what's going on here. I will say there's a lot of stuff in here, but how do you find what you're looking for? So let me hit the start button. Maybe we can search. Okay, we can. Sweet. Let's go in here and let's do WWF WrestleFest, or we'll just do Yeah, we'll do WrestleFest, and I guess we'll find out that way. Whatever, we'll just do WWF and we'll see what they have on this list here. So we've got WWF WrestleFest, we've got Superstars, Royal Rumble in here, and then we go into WrestleFest here for Super Nintendo, which was never released. So what they mean to say is WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. It clearly says WrestleFest here for Super Nintendo, so they're wrong on the labeling there. We've got World Wrestling Competition, which is actually WrestleMania Challenge, according to the image anyways. So, yeah, like, why change those names? Unless that's the foreign release title, which could be the case. I could be overlooking that. So, we won't hit them too hard. But then we have World Wrestling Competition over here as well. So much for not having... Yeah, that's the same title, right? Maybe they're different versions, but I think that they're out of their mind if they think that this is not, you know, with duplicates. There's duplicates everywhere, like right here. Exact same image, exact same title. It could be Super Nintendo and then Genesis, but yeah, I don't know. WrestleMania 2000, so that's an N64 game, so I'm interested to see how that's going to perform on here as well. Another WWF Raw, another WWF Raw, another WWF Raw, another Mania 2000, another Mania 2000. So yeah, take the no duplicates thing and you know where to shove that, because that's obviously just not accurate. Yeah, we got WWF Attitude twice, and I think we might have seen one previous to this as well. Could be wrong there, but long story short, there's a ton of duplicates. So that's unfortunate because they're advertising that there's no duplicates right in the title. So how do I back out of here now? There's just like there's no indication as to how to get the heck out of here. We'll hit the B button, doesn't work. We'll hit the Y, we'll hit the X. A is going to select the title, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so start brings us back. That makes no sense, but we'll go with it. We'll hit start again. We'll go into search, and let's see. What do we have for Sonic? So this is really the only way to access everything is to use the search function here, because if you're just scrolling around, I mean, you could take forever and a day to navigate to what you're actually looking for, if there truly are over 20,000 titles on here. So we'll type in Sonic. At least it works, like it pulls up a list. So there's definitely hacks all over the place in here, but I am seeing original versions too. So yeah, I mean, at least there's a lot of games on here. I'll give them credit there. There's a lot of games. But there are duplicates as far as, you know, we've seen already. So I'm not going to keep you know, announcing that, but yeah, we already saw Sonic Jam. They're smooth in that they don't put the duplicates side by side, and that's probably why nothing's in alphabetical order, because if it was in alphabetical order, you'd have all the duplicates aligned with each other, because the same title in there twice, obviously it's going to get seated next to the previous one, and so on. So you would have all of them in order, like Sonic the Hedgehog. We've seen that on almost every page so far. But then we have Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic 3D Blast. They're not duplicating in the same row or on the same page. But if we go back here, we'll find some of those same titles. So pretty shady. It's a nice attempt, but it doesn't take a genius to see through that. All right, so I want to go back to start, because 3D games, that should be N64 and PlayStation only titles. We'll click on that. And I kind of want to see what we have. Like, I wish it was sectioned off in that you could look up N64, you could look up, I don't think there's Dreamcast on here, but PlayStation, I believe, is on here, or I would imagine it's on here. I don't know. That's the thing. I just don't know what's on here. And because it's not, so Cruisin' World, another, you know, clear indication that we do have N64 on here. So let's go back. Yeah, I mean, you would just be here all day looking through, you know, these categories here, because they're so broad and so random. So let's go back into the search, which again is the only way I think you can use this. So I'm going to put in Tony Hawk here. I want to see if we have any Tony Hawk games that would let me know, you know, a little bit more of what's okay. So there's a lot of Tony Hawk here. All right, how do I? Oh God, this is a pain to navigate. I just hit start thinking that that would confirm it. I forgot start is now the back button, so we got to go through the process again. This controller's D-pad is trash. I feel like I'm assaulting the thing to try to just navigate up and down. All right, so Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, do we get a video preview? So that looks to be, yeah, that's got to be a, what, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance? That's definitely not PlayStation, definitely not N64. What's this one? Yeah, same deal. It's one of the handheld options. I forget which one they were released to, but this one should be Game Boy Advance. And that's a duplicate right there for 2, which was up above. This is another duplicate right here for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. All right, so this is it has the 3D icon on there. So this is going to be either for N64 or PlayStation, depending on what we have there. And this is probably another version of that, so maybe we have both. I don't know. I mean, we're not navigating any better through this, so let me just launch this game and we'll see if we can tell. We've got a God of War image there, so I'm thinking this is going to be for PlayStation. Nope, N64. Okay. Makes sense to put God of War up there then. Cool. Grab Steve over here. So, alright, laggy as all hell. I literally move the D-pad to the left, and it's like a second and a half before it registers on screen. So, I know you can't see my hands, but here, I'll tell you when I hit the button. Hitting the button now. I'll hit the button now. Yeah, so it's like, I was exaggerating. It's not that significant, but it's enough to where that happens, and you can hear the audio is out of whack here. So yeah, it's maybe a half a second delay on here, but it's enough to throw you off. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks really bad. And the controls are out of whack too, so it's not even hitting the buttons the way that they should. I mean, granted, I'm not using an N64 controller, but even still, it should work better than that. So I'm not sure if this is the one I jumped into before. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to back out. I want to see if the other one launches a different version of the game using like a different emulator. Either way, it looks like we're getting God of War here for our image, and then, no, it's the same exact ROM for N64 as well. Okay, so we'll just jump out of here altogether. So that gives me enough, idea that 3D games, as they call them here, are going to absolutely suck. Continuing down the list, it just cycles back through. So that's all we have here. So it's just N64 on here, not PlayStation. It was the same deal there. Let's back out. Oh yeah, start button to back out. Got it. All right. Let's go back over here. So let's try like an older game, and my D-pad keeps getting stuck in place, and I have to like pop it back out. So that's fun. Let's go in here and let's go back to Sonic. Maybe we should have started the test a little bit easier. We went for the hardest thing to emulate. Oh god, this thing's a pain in the ass. Alright. D-pad is already failing on me here. I'm hitting it super hard for it to even register now. And it keeps getting stuck. So let's go to Sonic the Hedgehog here. I imagine this is Master System. It looked like the graphics were pretty old there. So yeah, it's the 2016 hack. Whatever, let's see if it works at least. Laggy. Enough of that. Yeah, the D-pad's so bad that like I can't even gauge my jumps. Yeah, very laggy still. I mean, not as bad as N64 was, but still significant lag on there. What is this for? Because the graphics there look pretty advanced. I don't see a 3D, so it's probably just like a random image. Let's see what this is. So without categories, you really don't know what you're diving into. Alright, that was a little bit better in terms of the lag, but still not perfect. Alright, we'll back out. Of course, we have to hit start. I'll never get used to that ever. Let's go back over to 3D games. So I would say like $38, you could come in here and you can grab ROMs off of this. You could, I mean, you could do some stuff, I guess, but you can go ahead and spend a little bit more on something else that's going to work way better. So I definitely wouldn't recommend this. I can commit to that, opinion right off the bat here based on what we've seen already. Let's jump into some Cruisin' World. One of my favorite racing games of all time. Just love this. Loved playing it in the arcade back in the day.
Choose your car.
We'll dive straight in.
Ready? Set? Go!
So analog sticks don't work at all, so we're using the D-pad to steer here, which is crappy. So you have to just tap your D-pad back and forth to kind of steer in increments, because if you just lay on like D-pad left, I'll end up doing practically a U-turn in the middle of the road here. It's just, oh, this is terrible. Alright, so we'll go down to exit, and let's see what else is on here for 3D games. I mean, we saw that it's lagging across the board here, so I mean, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody based on what we're seeing. You can get all this and more elsewhere, so I would say do that. All right, let's jump into Dead or Alive 2. So we have Dreamcast on here. Interesting. See, this is stuff that you need your own category for because you're hiding stuff that would be appealing to people. Of course, we got to see if this performs better than N64 did. Wow, if that's not horrendous, I don't know what is. All right, I've seen enough. All right, guys, so this console right here is hot garbage. This is trash. Don't buy this. It just sucks. We'll get that out of the way first, but then we'll start being positive about it. So what can we be positive about? It's super lightweight, so you could kind of throw it up in the air. You could throw it across the room if you wanted to. That would be more fun than trying to play these laggy games on here. In addition to that, though, we've got, what do we have going for it here? The N64 games, they launch. They're not terrible, but using the controller that's provided makes it a very laggy experience. I would say that you could pull the ROMs from this at 38 bucks, save yourself some time building your own setup, but some of the ROMs are really wonky, so I can't even say that they're reliable versions of games. So I probably would steer clear of the ROMs just because you don't know what's going to work well and what's going to be an absolute mess. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend pulling ROMs from this just because they're really inconsistent. But yeah, N64 does run for the most part. Dreamcast, however, we saw it's like trying to run through quicksand. It just goes really bad really quickly. The audio craps out momentarily. Like as soon as you get started, that audio is on its way out. So yeah, it's just underperforming across the board. I mean, we even saw significant lags with old Sega titles, which is stuff that's really basic and should be very easy to play. I have no doubt that Game Boy probably works on here, but who's paying 38 bucks for Game Boy in this sort of capacity? Nobody. You don't want to play Game Boy on here like this. You can save up, you know, a little bit more money. I'd say probably 100 bucks you can get yourself something that is light years better than this, or better yet, you can create your own product. And I'll provide a link to a video up here that shows you exactly how you can do that for about 100 bucks total. So you can set up something that can play Nintendo Wii, GameCube, PS2, Nintendo Switch even, for literally only 100 bucks. Click that link up there because it's going to do you so much better than a product like this, which is garbage. While I'm being positive, let's talk about the look of this. It's got a great graphic on here. I'm not going to knock it for that. If you want to poke the bear in the nose and you want to really piss Nintendo off, start a fight for something that is loaded with over 20,000 games ready to go on here, this is the graphic to do it with. I mean, this is a pretty sweet graphic. Do you play this game anywhere in here? Do you have access to it at all? No, of course not. It makes no sense to have this particular graphic on here, but it does look sharp. It looks cool. You can put this up on your shelf because that's about all you're going to want to do with this console in the end. So yeah, it's crap. The controller here is extra crappy. This is a cheap controller. You can get these wholesale for like 70 cents. I remember back in the day when I was buying a lot of controllers, I did buy them wholesale. And it wasn't this one. The ones that I got were actually decent, but these are the worst versions of this controller that I've ever seen. The D-pad gets stuck under the edge of the actual controller, so you have to like smack it to free it up. Somebody came into work and just said, man, these controllers suck. Nobody can make these worse. And the next person came in and said, hold my beer, I've got this. And they did a phenomenal job of making it worse. I mean, it's worse than the ones that I saw 5-6 years ago. When I was buying these wholesale. So yeah, these are terrible. In fact, I'm going to take my batteries out of here because it's going right in the garbage. Yeah, don't buy this console. It's just so bad. This is the stuff that gives plug and plays a bad name. This stuff is just, it's a cash grab. It's people trying to get you to bite on the whole 20,001 marketing scheme here. And the fact that this has 3 stars out of 5 on Amazon is concerning because this should have no stars. I know you can't give 0-star ratings, but it should be a 1-star product. And let's see, we've got one verified purchase review. The rest are all customer reviews in exchange for free product. So that makes sense why we have a higher rating than we should. So the first one, which was reviewed yesterday at the time of this recording, it says the games are all 8-bit. The games are basically playing Atari games, 8-bit games. The sample video you see is nowhere near the quality of real games. Do not waste your time or money like I did. It's caca. That is a good point. This is the caca console. It sucks. Don't buy it. So I'll provide a link in the description just so you guys can see this. Have a good laugh at it, but don't purchase it. It's not worth your time. There's no salvaging this. There's no reason to. It's not a good enough setup. The chipset on here, it's not the worst. It's not the worst, but it's not a good experience. So it's not worth the 38 bucks. It's not worth $3. So that's going to do it for today. Sorry to deliver bad news in this review, but I'm going to be real in these reviews, and unfortunately, this is a huge miss. So link in the description. Don't have to click it though. There's no reason to, but you guys know the deal. If you enjoyed the content today and you were at least amused by the fact that I went through this and tried to find some positives and really didn't find much, please give me a thumbs up on the video. Be sure to hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos. And the next review I do, I'll make sure that it's not a failed review like this one for what turns out to be a terrible product. I'll find something good that's worth actually talking about in a positive way. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for taking the time with me today. I'll see you guys on the next video.